Welcome to the architecture of autonomy, breaking modern programming. Okay, let's dive right into this explainer and uncover those hidden, everyday forces that are honestly quietly shaping our entire lives.
I want you to really think about this for a second. Are your decisions actually yours? Like the music you listen to, the clothes you wear, or even the goals you're chasing? Were they planted in your mind without you ever noticing? The crazy truth is, we're being programmed every single day. And the scariest part? Most people just look around and call it normal. Seriously, think about the very first 10 minutes of your morning. Before your feet even hit the floor, you probably grab your phone, right? You see a morning notification, read a quick message, watch a short video, or catch a catchy headline. That is the exact moment the programming begins. It's not some futuristic sci-fi thing happening tomorrow. It's happening right now, leaving these daily fingerprints all over your mind.
It's kind of like imagine a drop of water falling on a rock. Just one drop, it does absolutely nothing. Even 1,000 drops might seem meaningless at first glance, but given enough time, the rock completely changes shape. That's exactly how one video or one post operates. It's harmless on its own, sure, but thousands of them together act just like that water, slowly reshaping the stone of your mind.
So here's the crucial takeaway. Programming isn't about brute force. It's simply the process of altering a shape, mindset, or belief, not by a sudden force, but through consistent repetition over time. No one needs to control you overnight. They just need to capture your attention and use that repetition until an idea starts feeling true, even if it totally isn't.
You might think you're just sitting there, casually consuming information. But as the algorithm learns your exact triggers, the reality actually flips. The information starts consuming you. You just keep scrolling, reacting, and feeding the whole system. Honestly, this perfectly explains why we can spend hours scrolling and still feel completely empty afterward. We're literally no longer in the driver's seat.
Which brings us to Section 1, the war for attention, the modern battlefield.
The landscape has completely shifted. Companies aren't just competing for your money anymore. They're fighting for something way more valuable. Look at this chilling cascade of control. If an app captures your attention, it automatically influences your emotions. Those emotions dictate your decisions, and ultimately, those decisions shape your future. That right there is why every single notification is fighting a literal war to keep you engaged.
Every endless feed and carefully crafted algorithm is designed strictly to keep you watching. They're stealing the seconds they need to shape what comes next in your life. They aren't trying to improve your day, right? They are trying to ensure that distraction has become the default state of modern life.
So, I'm going to ask you a kind of uncomfortable question. When was the last time you sat alone, in pure silence? No phone, no music, no videos, just you. Most people can't do this. And it's not because they're weak. It's because we have been actively conditioned by modern life to literally fear stillness.
See, silence is dangerous to the system. Why? Because it forces you to face your own thoughts. That leads to active questioning, and finally, to the awareness that actually breaks the programming altogether. When you're silent, that whole cascade we talked about, it reverses and works in your favor, grinding you back in reality.
It becomes super clear why the modern digital environment pushes you to be a distracted mind. That state is incredibly easy to influence. It's like a puppet. It just accepts whatever it's fed. But a conscious mind, that is awake, alert, and basically impossible to control.
Now on to Section 2, the identity trap, building the inner prison.
The deepest programming actually isn't happening on your screen. It's quietly happening inside your very identity, through all these subtle accepted labels. Slowly, without even realizing it, you build your life around whether you're labeled successful or unsuccessful, attractive or unattractive, smart or average. You end up avoiding risks and staying small just because you accepted a story someone else wrote for you. You tell yourself, well, people like me don't do that, and boom, the label becomes your reality.
It's exactly like an elephant tied to a small rope. Picture this massive, powerful adult elephant held back by just a tiny wooden peg and a little rope. When it was young and weak, sure, that rope was strong enough to hold it. It tried to pull away, failed, and eventually it just learned to stop trying.
The rope isn't what's holding it anymore. The belief is. And wow, this brilliantly illustrates how so many of us are living our lives. We're trapped not by our actual reality, but entirely by our own programmed beliefs. That adult elephant could snap the rope in a millisecond, but it doesn't. Once a label becomes your identity, it completely dictates your behavior until you finally wake up and realize you can just break the rope.
So let's get to Section 3, breaking the illusion, how to escape.
How do we actually escape this continuous cycle without having to, throw our phones in a river and run away into the woods? It comes down to a simple escape plan. Question what you consume, question what you believe, and question what you fear. You break the illusion by ruthlessly questioning everything you take in and bringing active awareness back to your daily habits.
Here is an incredible tool to start separating your genuine, internal desires from the ones planted by the crowd. When you suddenly crave a new product or a new lifestyle, hit pause and ask, would I still want this if nobody else knew about it?
And then, follow it right up with this one. Would I still believe this if I'd never heard it before? Stacking these questions forces the illusion to crack. Because remember, external programming can only survive if you give it your unconscious acceptance.
The world is always going to try to tell you who to be and what to think. But the moment you become conscious and stop accepting everything by default, you reclaim the power to decide for yourself. True freedom isn't necessarily about escaping the system entirely. Freedom is simply seeing the system clearly. So, I want to leave you with this final thought to ponder as you step back into your day. Because the day you start thinking independently is the day your real life actually begins. Look at your very next thought, your next goal, your next action. Is the next decision really yours?